about dressing up so that the vibe for this video would be like on theme, but then I realized my wardrobe is neither dark nor academic, so here we are. Hello my lovely friends, it's Margaret. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're doing a little bit of a genre deep dive. There are probably a fair few of you that remember like the internet at the end of 2020 when there was just this obsession with the dark academia genre, be it books, TV shows, just the general vibe, all of that stuff. And me being me was like, I think I can get a video out of this. So for those of you that are not chronically online and didn't just get like a picture in your head of what dark academia is, I do have a definition. It is a subculture with a heavy emphasis on reading, writing, learning, and a look best described as traditional academic with a gothic edge. So what's gonna happen is I have 6 books. I'm gonna introduce you to them, let you see them. We're gonna go to the vlog where I talk about each one as I am reading them, and then we'll kind of wrap up with my final thoughts. First one on the list is Ace of Spades by Faraday, Ibiga, Yamidae. This follows 2 black teenagers in a private school as they are dealing with the fact that they are the only black children in this school and they are being harassed by an anonymous text messenger that is giving out information that they would rather not have anyone know. Also for this vlog, I read The Atlas 6 by Olivier. This follows 6 people who are brought into this secret society where they are given kind of the keys to all of this knowledge that has been lost because the secret society just so happens to be the people who are the guardians of the Library of Alexandria. And number 3 on the list was Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. This follows Inez as she is going into this really prestigious college where you shut everything, you get shut out from the world for 3 years. They let you study however you want, and then you come out, and typically people end up going on to have very successful careers. Inez is here, and she kind of gets drawn into the inner workings of some stuff going on behind the scenes. We also have Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I had to have that one in there. This follows Alex. She's been brought to Yale because she has some skills that are very useful to the secret society, and she is being trained up to kind of be a watchdog over the various societies that are at Yale, kind of going under the radar and using Yale to create magic. We also have Foul is Fair by Hannah Capen. This is a revenge murder retelling of Macbeth, and that really should tell you all that you need to know about it. And then the final one, because what former theater student is not going to be interested in this book, is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. This follows 6 people at, you're noticing a theme here, but a prestigious academy where it's all based around the arts, and they are all theater students, specifically Shakespearean theater students. A murder happens and kind of throws a wrench in the works, as it were. Trying to get an update in while there is still some daylight coming in, and get this vlog started. I will go back at some point and do an intro because I don't have all of the books and there's not enough daylight and I don't have enough time. So I am just here to say that we are starting the first of our Dark Academia books. I did manage to get this through, I think it's Overdrive that I have this through. So I am listening to this as an audiobook. It is the Avengers group book pick for the month of December. And so that's why we're doing this video, because the baby's first Dark Academia wasn't going to work if I'd already read a Dark Academia book. I have started this, we're like 30 seconds in. I have already decided that I would adopt Devin because he hates school assemblies. He said school assemblies should have been, hold on, let me pull this because in this matter, we are basically the same person. Okay, he's complaining about the school assembly. 20 minutes of my life about to be wasted on an assembly that could have been an email. I say that about meetings at work all the time because like 99% of them could have been emails. The number of times we've been in a meeting, we've been told something, and then they'll be like, we'll email you the details. And it's just like, then why didn't we just do it as an email? I just want to let you know that I started that before I got too far into it. I will talk to you when we get further. I have so many themed vlogs going on. I am going to lose just all of the marbles are going to be gone. They're going to be gone. It's fine. I'm fine. It's fine. I'm fine. I am 130 pages into Ace of Spades so far. There's a lot going on. I'm getting like Gossip Girl / Pretty Little Liar vibes. Like if the Pretty Little Liar, I don't know, because no one's dead yet that we know of so far. Like they didn't murder anyone and bury their body, which is what I am assuming happened in Pretty Little Liars from like the commercials that I have seen. I have not watched the show, but it's like very much like Gossip Girly, and somebody's like giving people updates via text. and really, really focusing on Devon. Really just focusing on him. I think I know who it is, because they really seem to have it in for him. We've gotten a little bit about Chiamaka, and so I'm thinking Chiamaka is in there to be a red herring. And then we've had one other person that has had one other text. And I have a feeling that the only reason that text is in there is so that the Dan Humphreys of this book will not be suspected. Because if a text goes out about them, people aren't going to think that they're aces. They're not going to think that that's what's happening. We are taking way too long for Chiamaka and Devon to team up and figure out what's going on, because I feel like they both know they're being targeted, and they're the only ones really being targeted. So why aren't they talking with each other? There are a couple of options, though, for who Aces is. My favorite one, currently, we'll see. Just a feeling. Just a feeling. I just have a feeling. If I was right, I figured it out sometime around the 100-page mark. I'm just gonna put that out there. If you don't know me, when you have a book where there's I like being right about things. And so if there is a central mystery, a lot of the time, I'm gonna be trying to figure it out ahead of time, and I get such satisfaction from being right. Who can guess my sun sign? If you're on here, you probably already know it, honestly. So anyways, I get such satisfaction out of guessing the thing ahead of time. Like, I guessed it in Firekeeper's Daughter. I guessed the bad guy in Roses of May. I enjoy it so much. And it's not every book. But if you get me one where I'm starting to see the pieces early on, I'm definitely going to just be like, okay, let's figure this out. I'm going to continue reading. I don't think I'm going to read any more of this today because it is my audiobook. So I will continue reading this, though, because it is the Avengers Initiative Reading Challenge group book. The live show is probably already out yet, so I will... Out now, yes. I'll have it up here-ish, so you can see what our thoughts were on it. I know at least 2 of the 5 of us loved this book. I have a feeling I may as well. Let's see. Impressions on this book. Devon is a sweet cinnamon roll. I love him still. Chiamaka is... I love her. She is not a good person, but I love her. It's great the way that they build. Like, you really know why she has become this almost mean girl. What's her face? Georgina? The girl from Mean Girls. You know who I'm talking about. It makes sense that she has done this. Her reasonings track. I am very interested, very curious. I will let you know if I am right about this. My other books for this vlog just came in from the library, so I will probably go pick them up at some point. My library closes at 6 o'clock and I get off at 5. And I don't know, I don't want to go back out. Well, I could go get them now. But I don't want to, so I'm not going to. Okay, so we are at the halfway point for Ace of Spades. I really, really like this. I really like Chiamaka, and I really like Devon as characters, and the more we get to know them, the more I like them. I think we definitely we get a real full picture of Devon. Chiamaka is a little bit harder to know because she has so many, she's all wrapped up in so many things, trying to be this perfect person so that she will be the, who she needs to be to do all the things that she's doing at the school, to have the power that she has. And I really enjoy how we're looking at both of those. I suspect everyone at this point, even the teachers, I am pretty sure that the reason they are being targeted is going to have something to do with the fact that they're the only 2 black kids at the school, and somebody feels like they don't deserve the positions that they have been given, which is they were prefects at the beginning of this book. Is it a student? Is it a teacher? I don't know. At this time, I have several suspects. I think that there's a friendship that's happening. Actually, there's a couple friendships that are happening. One of them I'm less suspicious of than the other one, but in both cases, it's I really don't, they're cute, and I really don't want these to be suspicious, but they are. I'm pretty sure at this point that it has to be a group of people just based on what is coming out, what's come out so far. I think I know who some of the people in the group are. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm questioning everything. I'm like not sure. I am really just like, It's gonna be interesting to compare this to some of the other dark academia books that I have on this list, because this feels very much like it's not as focused on the school setting. This is more focused on their lives and what they've done and are doing to be here at this school. I don't know, y'all. Like, I'm about to sit down and listen to some more because I have to go. I don't know. It is fantastic. I'm hoping I might be done this by the end of the day or tomorrow sometime. I kind of go in starts and stops of like wanting to listen to this and then wanting to not, just like, this is too much. I'm gonna go listen to some podcasts for a while. So the not knowing is bothering me. Like, usually for books like this, I kind of have a good idea of what's going on, and the not knowing is bothering me. I've definitely texted some people about like what my suspicions are and what I think is happening and what's going on, but I refuse to commit to any theories at this point because I don't think any of them are right. I don't know which one is right. Provided I have not deleted the clips from December, we're starting our second Dark Academia book in this vlog. If I have deleted the clips, then we're starting our first Dark Academia vlog for this, or book for this vlog. But I am starting with The Atlas 6 by Olivier Blake. I am sort of buddy reading this with Cal. We have 3 that we both wanted to read and be able to discuss on my channel. So we're going to be doing that. As it turns out, this is the only one that I do not have. Ooh, it's got pretty illustrations. This is the only one that I do not have as an audiobook. So of course we're starting with this one. I really should have looked at this before I asked Cal which book we would start with of the 3 that we're reading together. I will check in once I have read some of this book. I think this is the one that I am the most excited for out of all of them because, like, yeah, like Catherine Howell's Fowler's Fair, If We Were Villains, all those I'm interested in but not like excited for. And then Ninth House, I'm like, well, I want to read it, but at the same time, I've heard mixed things about it, so I may like it, I may not like it. So who knows? Hey, film a few minutes, but I wanted to stop in real quick and tell you that I have gotten to page 100 of The Atlas 6. And yes, it was so good at the beginning that I just went out and bought it. I did not even get past, it's funny, I didn't even get past the first page before I was like, this probably needs to be on my shelves. And then my library told me I couldn't renew it. So, I'm really liking it. So far, there are a couple of points of view. There's one I don't like, because I don't like the character, which I expected. I expected there to be some questionable characters in this book. We'll say that. I expected there to be some characters that I wasn't going to like, just because, again, it's dark academia, and some of the themes that I know are explored there. So there are a lot of characters that I find interesting. Like, I find Raina interesting, I find Tristan interesting, I find Parisa interesting, and I think they all have the potential to become characters that I end up liking, especially because I think I can understand some of the motivations behind some of them. But so far, like, Parisa is making me go, ma'am, why are you the way you are? And then I've also, like, Tristan just did something that makes me go, oh, okay. And Raina is a little exhausting as a narrator to me right now, just because she is so, like, her particular struggle is just like, what, but why? Like, I don't quite understand what's going on, and, like, at the moment it seems like she's making a bigger, it feels like she's making a bigger deal of something that she's dealing with, than seems reasonable. I'm not sure. There is so much that we still have to learn about Raina and her powers and what's going on. This is about 6 people that have different magical powers, and they have been recruited to this thing, and so only 5 of them are going to make it to the end, probably. I like the fact that it has illustrations of everyone. I'm not entirely sure if I know who everyone is. I think this is Nico, but there is also another dark-haired boy in here. And so I need, yeah, like, the only one that I know for sure are Caleb, who looks like a GQP senator, We've got Libby, obviously. And then where is... It's probably technically Callum. I believe, because he's the only one that's black. And then I believe this is Tristan. And then we have another blonde dude that is Gideon. And then obviously Raina is, like, the girls are very obvious to tell who's who. Anyways, I don't know why I'm going on about illustrations except that I like having them in there. So far, I'm really intrigued by everything that's going. It's doing this weird thing where we'll lead up to specific moments and we won't actually see the moment, but we'll get, like, the before and we'll get the aftermath, but not the exact, like, what's said in the moment. And I'm just like, this is interesting and odd. I feel like you're maybe trying to hide something to us, or maybe you think it's more obvious than it is. And it's an interesting choice to be making as a writer. I'll be interested to see where it goes. Hello. So we have made headway in this vlog. I finished Atlas 6 like 3 days ago. I finished it a while ago, but oh my god, was it good. This is a wild ride, and I absolutely adored how Olivier Blake built to the eventual conclusion. Like, the way that she was able to make you think a certain way about a character and then completely turn your understanding of that character's actions on its head at the end was just phenomenal. I still hate Callum. I still think he is, in fact, getting set up to be the one that dies. I'm really, like, fingers crossed. I'm really enjoying the relationships that are building between these. Nico and Libby 5eva. When he was losing his mind at the end of the book, I cannot wait to see what happens in the next book. And, like, where all of these characters go, but specifically how the two of them deal with the aftermath of the ending of this book. Like, they are my children. They are the ones I am most invested in. My next book that I'm picking up for this particular vlog, I'm trying to finish the 3 that I'm reading with Cal first, but I have Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. This is going to be my next audiobook as soon as I finish the one that's sitting behind me that I've been working on for frickin' ever. So I will be picking this up. I will check in with you guys when I get somewhere in this book. Do you remember there was something about a snail when I read it I read the first chapter or so, and there was a party, and I think someone was crying in a bathroom, and there was a snail. Very odd. Hi, so, I don't think I've given you an update on where I am right now. Don't worry, we haven't gotten very far. I did finish Catherine House. I don't remember ranting about this, so I don't think I've updated you on this one. I can see why there are people that like it, because I think there are people who want different things or are okay with their endings being more ambiguous. I do not like the way, okay. I gave it 3 stars. I didn't think it was a bad book. I think it was well written in a lot of places. I think there was a lot of stuff that was interesting and intriguing about it. But then we get to the end, and there is a whole lot of payoff that I feel personally as a reader does not happen. And the little bit of payoff that we get, I do feel like we just kind of gets reversed. Like, it kind of doesn't matter at the end of the day. And I don't know how to explain it any further without completely spoiling the book. So I'm not going to. Yeah, I was all here for this weird cult-like school that Inez was going to, and kind of seeing her slowly realize it was a cult and escape the cult and have things happen and, like, all of this other stuff. And for the most part, that's kind of the story that we got. But there's also all this weird little stuff that's seeded in that kind of goes somewhere but doesn't fully finish. It feels like this is a standalone, but it feels like it needs a sequel, if that makes any sense to anyone else. I do think it had really interesting things to say about academia and the fact, especially when you listen to, I listened to the audiobook, so we got an interview with the author. When you listen to the author talk about the fact that she wanted to create kind of like this academic utopia where it was like the disparities were equalized. It was equitable. Like, you were just as likely to see a black girl here as you were to see a white person. The entire friend group that Inez has was beautifully diverse. It is very queer. Just like all over the place. That probably, I know some people that aren't happy about that. They would have rather had it be a straight book, considering how disappointed they were. But, like, there is a lot of really interesting characterization and a lot of really good writing. It got 3 stars. It was a decent book. I was not happy with I just didn't feel like it provided what I was wanting, like, whatever I felt the story. I felt like the story basically led nowhere. And I feel like there are people who are going to enjoy that. They're going to enjoy the weirdness, and they're going to really be able to immerse themselves in the atmosphere, and where we're going won't necessarily matter. I am not that person. I need a relatively happy, hopefully satisfying ending. So, here we are. After that, I did start Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. My goal is to have finished this by next Thursday for reasons that you'll probably see. I'm on page 22. It's a lot. I don't think I can listen to this one at work because I had to rewind it multiple times because I was just like, wait, what just happened? I am confused. I'm kind of starting to get an idea of what is going on and where we're going. It seems like we have kind of like this mixture of this academic, like very like hush-hush secret society setting, but also we have magic in this one, which I feel like is a great improvement on any book, is just having a little bit of magic in it. So I'm excited to see. This seems like it might kind of get very occulty. So and there's some stuff that has happened that I'm not entirely sure I understand. Like it's one of those things where we open kind of in media res, and so some stuff has happened. Our main character is dealing with, well, actually it starts with like the character in the future, and then we flash back to the beginning of the story, which Leigh Bardugo does very well. It can be mishandled. I think Leigh Bardugo, like, I wouldn't have done it. Just because, like, then you kind of know where the story is going to some extent, but, like, Leigh Bardugo still does it very well. It manages to build kind of a sense of curiosity and foreboding, and then we're stuck into chapter 1, and you're going, there are a whole lot of things that I don't know what's going on here. Please enlighten me, because, like, we jump into something has happened. Like, definitely something has happened in this character's life. There are certain things that are kind of the norm that have been upset, and we don't know why. So, I am excited to read it and find out what the heck has happened here. Anyways, I want to know, where is Darlington? Why isn't he here? What has happened? It seems like there has been something. Is he kidnapped? Was there a falling out? Who knows at this point? It's a very, like, kind of a very sinister, almost spooky vibe going on. We know Alex is here to prevent something, but we're not entirely sure. So it feels like Alex may be this is one where Alex may be going into it with a little bit more knowledge of what's going on than we've seen in the previous Dark Academia that I have read for this vlog. So we'll see. My God, this is going to take so long to edit. I hate myself. All right, I meant to check in with you guys like 300 pages ago. Briar. Hey, why is your nose in there? Hey, baby girl. No, don't come too close. So we are here with an update for Ninth House. I can see why not everyone is going to like it. Hi, yeah. You're very distracting. I can see why not everyone is going to like Ninth House. I'm enjoying it. I find it really interesting. Yes, I'm in a different place than I normally am, but we don't stop vlogs because we're traveling, do we? No, we don't, Brie. I'm enjoying it. But it is very, like, the plot line is not very linear, and it's very introspective, because what'll happen is we'll have something happen at the beginning, like, we'll have something happen, and it'll kind of lead into some of the mystery of what's going on in the main character's past, because basically, we know we have this main character that survived this, like, quadruple homicide, and nobody knows why that's happened. And then we also have Darlington's perspective, and he's been doing, like, he's in the past, kind of giving us an idea of Alex's time, because the system is, like, he's the Virgil, and she's the Dante, and so the Virgil is the one that is going to train the Dante so that they can take over what the Virgil's job is, which is to kind of keep an eye on these secret societies and make sure that they don't go too far, I guess, basically. They don't end up breaking the veil, they don't end up using magic in a way they shouldn't, etc., etc., and there's this murder, and some other stuff has gone down. So we do get to see a couple points of view, and it's not linear, and it is very, very, like, it takes a while for the actual plot to get going and for actual pieces to be put together. So I understand that, but it is, like, I don't know, in my opinion, it's well worth it to get to, like, kind of the, oh my, because, like, I knew, I'm almost at the end. I think I have, like, one chapter left. I don't have much left on the audiobook. I knew that one of these characters had to be involved in what was going on, with what was happening. I was like, this character has to be involved somehow. The way that they were involved was such a surprise. Yes, it was. It was a surprise. I was like, oh my god, I didn't see that coming, but it makes total sense within the world. It's brilliant, fascinating, and it's really interesting because I'm interested in what they're going to do with the main character now that we know this about her from this other character. So, like, there are going to be repercussions for the main character because of this. Am I holding your whole head up? No, don't lick me. Don't lick me. That will hurt. That won't do good. Yeah, you had your whole head up. Anyways, I have a friend here. Mom is asleep right now, so she came down to sit down here with me because I'm doing this now, and then we're gonna go back upstairs and I'm gonna read. Yeah, yes I am. So, anyways, yeah, that's my thoughts on Ninth House so far. I think I like it as much as I liked the Atlas 6. I think this is gonna get a nice good rating. So I wanted to give you that update. So about that update, I had one page left because I'm a loser who paused her audiobook and forgot she'd paused her audiobook. So anyways, this is done. It's getting 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. All of my thoughts from the last update. Nothing else happened. Baller of a last line, though. Baller. Like,
you use the word baller in real life.
Shut up, I'm a millennial. I'm old, don't you know that?
I do.
The off-screen voice is Cal, making fun of me as usual. Okay, so the next one that we're moving on to, because I am here with Cal, is going to be Phallus Fair by Hannah Capen. This is a Macbeth retelling, I think, possibly in some way. At least it sounds like it, based on the fact that Phallus Fair is in there, and then there is a character named Mac in here. So I'm thinking she's going to be Lady Macbeth or something like that. But I don't know. I'll update you later when I have more information. So, we're what, 50 pages into Phallus Fair? I said that. I was the one that figured it out. We are 50 pages into Phallus Fair. It's not, oh, now it's on. Cal is having fun filming my vlog clips. So, this is making this a very classy, high-class, Dark Academia vlog. We're at the beginning. It is a retelling of Macbeth, and I like the kind of way that it's taking because it takes the fact that Lady Macbeth is the orchestrator of so much, and they are, like, Hannah Capen is really leaning into that for this book, and I think that that's a really clever way to do it. It's very Dark Academia, but it's set in a high school, so that's a choice. Like, it's interesting because Jade, who's the main character, she's not very likable, but she's also, like, it seems to be a very realistic portrayal of trauma. Speaking of which, there is a trigger warning or content warning.
It's not on page, but
it's not on page, but it is
flashback.
talked about
Yeah.
a lot. Trigger warning for rape and sexual assault. So, anyways, yeah, not a lot of thoughts just yet because we're still early in the book, but, oh, we get Briar in this one too. What's a Dark Academia vlog without a golden retriever?
Nothing's anything without a golden retriever.
I'm so sorry if the random blue thing is distracting. I'm gonna try and figure out somewhere else in my room that it can go, but this is my new bed, but I have to move some other stuff before I can put the new bed together and get it in a place where it is not going to be a pain in my ass. So we're just going to deal with this for right now while I update y'all because I've been waiting for the light. I am back from Utah. We did manage to finish this just barely before I left. I ended up giving this, I think I gave it 3 stars. I think that it was decently written. I liked the twist on Macbeth that this had, and I liked the fact that it was kind of focused on the high school, and there were a lot of interesting dynamics there. It's not going to be a favorite, though, because, number one, there's no really, like, the only relationship in here is just a mess, because it's Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. And then I do think, I don't want to give away anything, but, like, the ending, but I do think that if you do not know what happens to Lady Macbeth in the play, the ending could be, kind of a shock. I know the ending would definitely probably be triggering. I thought it was an interesting take. I thought I liked the voice. I liked the characters. I can see why people would not like it. I'm just, like, it's a decent book. We are moving on to the final book in this thing, and I'm going to try and have this done by the end of the week, and it's Friday. I'm going to try and have this done by, like, Sunday, because this is overdue, and it has holds, so I can't renew it. So I'm going to try and either get to a point where I know whether or not I want to own it, or I am going to try and have it finished so we can wrap this thing up before it has to go back to the library. I do have some time before that happens, because they give you 10 days before they just charge you for the book. I'm about to go out and go for a walk, and I'm going to go listen to some of this, and I will check in with y'all at some point about this book. And then hopefully we'll be done with this. I've been working on this for so long. Hi, dear. I am checking in. I am about 120 pages into this. As a theater student, I'm loving this. Especially the amount of Shakespeare that is being thrown around. Like this, it's funny, because this, like, really, like, Emma Rio really sat down and thought about how a 5-act structure works in creating this. It's very obviously patterned after like your typical Shakespearean tragedy. So my one comment that I got to get out is we are 120 pages in this. I've got 7 theater students, and only one of them is gay at this point. As someone who went to theater school, that's sus to me. I'm just saying, if half of them are not gay, then maybe they're not actually theater students. My first class, off the bat, the teacher was like, "Hi, I'm gay." And he was using it specifically in regards to, like, our lesson. We were talking about hermeneutics and point of view and how that affects the way that we look at scenes. It's interesting because I started out liking Richard, because I mean he's an ass, but like he's a nice ass at the beginning, and then we've had some stuff that's happened. So I think he's the one that gets murdered. I think it's him, but they have not actually said who is the one that gets murdered yet. And I know one of these people, one of the dudes, besides Oliver, has gotten murdered at the beginning for the prologue. So I'm just like, oh, and I'm really liking, so the way that this works is you'll have each act, and there'll be a little prologue to each act, which will show Oliver in present day, and then he'll go into the main part of the story where we're talking about, like, the experience at Delacour. And I love that he's like, by the second act, like, yeah, by the way, this was a cult. We didn't realize it, but it basically is a cult. But it's really funny. I am feeling the description of the theater teachers. Like, Gwendolyn reminds me of a couple of the acting teachers that we had at my school. Like, it was an amalgamation of a couple of them. So that's fun. Frederick, we all had that kind of, like, I was in the theater. Most of the men were soft men who liked to drink tea. Not like, Frederick is a little harder to pin down just because, like, Frederick is a little bit more like I had a couple of teachers that remind me of him in various ways, so we'll see going there. But, like, I'm just like, I've seen all of these people. But anyways, so I am going to continue as I am working around my room. So I'm gonna continue listening to this. So I wanted to stop in and give y'all a check-in because I do want to have this done, preferably by the end of the weekend, so I can return it on tomorrow because technically they're closed tomorrow. Hi. So I have two thoughts that I wanted to come on. Number one, I was right about one of six. Now we've gotten to the part where one of them has been murdered. I was right. It was the one I thought it was. Not sad about it. Anyways, but I was right that, like, only having one of the group of them be gay was suspicious. Because it's really funny. Because two of the boys right now are kind of having gay panic moments. Or bi panic moments, I guess. Because they're both into girls. But also into each other. They haven't figured that part out yet. Also, I'm pretty sure I know who did it at this point. I've been going back and forth on who I thought possibly did it, because we know as the readers that it couldn't have been two of them. They just aren't options. Two of the other ones, like, one of them just doesn't give me that energy, and the other one, we kind of know where they were. The window of opportunity was very small for them. But we have two that were unaccounted for. One who has an alibi. So we're down... Yeah, we're down to the one. But he keeps making a comment about this one line from Shakespeare. And I won't tell you which line it is. But he keeps making a comment of he's got this reoccurring line from Shakespeare. Just, like, this random line, it's, like, trying to be, like, it sounds like it's being very thematic and poetic in his mind and all of this stuff, and I'm just sitting here going, this is a clue. This is a clue. I did just text Cal and be like, please tell me we find out what happens to this dude, because, like, obviously it was a murder. Do we find out who did it? I am 63% of the way through this book, so I might be done by the end of the weekend, which would be fantastic, because then I can do my wrap-up for this tomorrow when I'm filming. It'd be great, and this project will be done. Finally be done. Yes. Alright, so the main question of this vlog, video, experiment thing that we have going on here was, do I like dark academia? I have to say, for the most part, the answer is yes. There are a few reasons for this. Number one, I am a sucker for boarding school books, and so a lot of these, because you're going away to college, they have that similar feeling to a boarding school book. And number two, they all usually involve some sort of central mystery, and I really, I just like figuring things out as I'm always trying to figure stuff out when I'm reading a book, and the more there is to figure out, the better. Especially, that's why I like thrillers and mystery as a whole, because I'm trying to be one step ahead, or two steps, as many steps ahead, honestly, as possible to whoever the main character, trying to figure out what is going to happen. Another reason I did find that I kind of liked the writing style of most of these. They all seem to have a very, eloquent, really thought out sentences and structure, and, how things are being, it's not just information being communicated. There is an art being, you're really there. You can tell the author is thinking about, how do I create a mood and an atmosphere, and really pulling all of those things together. For the most part, I think all of these did that really well. One of the other things that I noticed between all of these that really is a plus in my book is that they're very character driven. You are spending a lot of time with these characters as they are living through these central mysteries. They do have a little bit slower plot. There's a lot more rumination, a lot more thought in some of these, so I understand why that might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I really liked that, and I thought it worked really well with the setting, which I also liked. So, we've got all of this. And then the final reason that I really liked these is because they all tended to focus on secret societies and or cults. Sometimes they're the same thing, but I really like the idea of a secret society as it is, especially when we're talking about something I'm a big fan of the Shadow Hunters. I love the idea of background. Oh my god, that probably goes back to my religious upbringing, but I love the idea of these people in the background keeping the rest of us from knowing the true evil that is attacking us, all of that stuff. And also, this just because secret societies and especially cults are fascinating, really just sitting there and looking at how these different figures were able to bring people in, how they were able to make people go past their misgivings that they might have had, past any like sort of warning bells that might have been going on, and just talking them into doing things. And in many cases, these people probably would not have done if they had not been manipulated to that extent. It's interesting to look at those and then to look and see how those tend to be used by certain media personalities or people in popular culture or in politics especially. I am going to go through these in order not of how I finished them, but in my least favorite to my most favorite. The first one we're going to talk about is Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. I gave this 3 stars. I really liked the vibe that Catherine House had. I really liked Inez as a main character because there's definitely some stuff going on with her, and you can tell that there are layers to her character and she's struggling with things, and that the decisions that she's making, like, you're getting into her psyche and you understand why she's making those decisions. I also really liked the atmosphere that was built. I thought that this was really, like, the atmosphere built in Catherine House is really well done. It is very, very much based on cults and cult tactics. This is probably, I think, the most culty of the book. So if you're really into cults, you like books with academic vibes, I think this is going to be a really good one for you. Where it fell flat for me at the end was the ending is kind of more or less ambiguous. But it's ambiguous in a bad way, if that makes, like it kind of feels like the ending that you are being led towards thinking of what is going to happen next. It just undoes so much of the latter part of this book, undoes so much of the, not necessarily growth, because I don't think this character really grows. She's a very static character throughout the whole book. But it undoes certain things at the end that I was not happy with. I also felt like there were a lot of little things that felt like Easter eggs, that felt like small clues, just weird stuff that didn't make sense unless it was part of a greater narrative, and it just led to, as far as I can tell, to nowhere. Maybe I just didn't get the whole point of it, but I felt like a lot of what I was sitting there trying to piece together and trying to figure out just had no purpose. It was just there to be weird. So I know there are people who really like this book. I think, again, if you like the academic vibe and if you're okay with kind of ambiguous, maybe not happy endings, go for it. I just am a happy ending bitch. Moving on from there, we've got to go to Phallus Fair by Hannah Capen. This is a really, really interesting retelling of Macbeth set in a very prestigious private school. And I really liked the setting. I really liked how Macbeth was reimagined. It does have a little bit of a, well, if you know Macbeth, you can probably kind of guess how this ends. So not my favorite ending. We did dock a star for that, but it was also expected. And kind of it's weird because I just said that that didn't have a satisfying ending, but the way that this was all spun and woven together, when you get to that ending, it is so weirdly satisfying considering what the ending is. Just weirdly satisfying. Hannah Capen did a fantastic job of getting into Jade's head and really giving you an idea of why she was doing things the way she was doing them, because this takes Lady Macbeth's story and it makes it very personal to her. It makes her the one, we know that she is the one in Macbeth trying to push things along, and you kind of have an idea of what her motivations are in there. And this takes those motivations, it takes what she does in the play, and it makes it personal to her. I will say, because of the environment that this is, I will say that there is a trigger warning for suicide. There's also a trigger warning for sexual assault. You know from the get-go that the main character has been raped. So just know that. It happens off page. It is not talked about in a graphic manner, but it is frequently thought about and referenced because she is a trauma victim reacting. And while this is not how I feel I would react to trauma, it's still, because of the story that we're telling, it made sense. And I thought that it was a really interesting exploration of how how trauma affects how you think, how trauma affects what your goals are. Like, there were definitely places in here where you're sitting there going, ma'am, this is not the smartest decision, but you can also understand why she is not able to divorce herself from what is happening and what she is doing to be able to actually think through and think about long-term consequences. She's thinking here and now. I have been hurt. I want to hurt other people. It's a good retelling of Macbeth. If you're a Shakespeare nerd, you may enjoy it. If you're a Shakespeare nerd, you may not enjoy it. Depends on how strict you need your retellings of Shakespeare to go. Because this is a little bit like, she definitely throws some wrenches in there and changes things up a little bit, but I really appreciated how she did that. I did end up giving it 4 stars just because I did think it was a very clever way to reimagine Macbeth. Next, we'll talk about Ace of Spades by Faraday, Ibiga, Yamidae. This made my best books of 2021. That was how good it was. The way that Ibiga Yamidae was able to take this academic setting and use it as a lens for how multiple levels of society view and treat and interact with Black people. And I'm not talking about like individual, I'm talking about the systemic ways that we sit and we make things more difficult for people of color. The way that she was able to personify that systemic violence in this book was really well done. There is so much in here that has a deeper meaning than just what it does to affect the plot, and yet it is also affecting the plot in a masterful way. One of my favorite things that I have talked about again and again is I liked how we had Devon and we had Chiamaka kind of reveal their characters in different ways. Devon is just like there, very open to the reader. You are able to get a feel for who he is and what he wants and what is going on with him right away. It is like connection with Devon right there, right at the very beginning. Chiamaka takes a little bit more time because she's a little bit of an unpleasant person for reasons. Climbing to the top of like the pecking order in this school is very obviously how she has protected herself. But it takes the reader a little more time to get to know her as a person because we're kind of having to have these layers peeled away from her as we move throughout this story. I do feel that there were some weaknesses at the ending. It was a little rushed in my opinion, but like not enough that I really truly cared. The way that this wrapped up at the end was very satisfying and very well done in my opinion. And then I love a good book with an epilogue. I just love a book with an epilogue. And after that, we move on to the ones that I gave 5 stars, starting out with Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This one was like, I feel like this one really kind of personified what I feel like dark academia is, because we had the academic setting, we had this fantastical secret society that was going on, we had this murder mystery that's happening at the back of everything, and then we have like this event that you're not like told about flat out. You kind of have to piece things together that has happened before the book starts that has effects on so much of what is going on in this book, because Alex is not supposed to be in this position yet. She was supposed to have like a year of training before the person who was training her graduated and moved on, and yet she is here kind of thrown into the midst of things, and we don't know why. Starting out at the beginning of the book, she's working with a hostile police force, even though she's like, this is a little fishy, this murder, and she can't let it go. And I like stories where like you've got a character who's like, I can't let this go. Something's wrong about this. So this is one that if you do not like the writing style, if you are not invested in what is going on and finding answers, this is probably going to be very boring for you. Just because like it's a commitment. It takes us a while to get to a place where you start putting pieces together, but where you start really getting a grasp on what the heck is going on, why these things are important. So much sits there and it just feels superfluous and weird. Leigh Bardugo does this thing where you will be in the present and then there will be a flashback, and I think that she handles the flashbacks really well, because so much of what is going on, so much of what affects that is Alex's past. So seeing that, very helpful. I think it was also a really good idea to have the second point of view in here, kind of to see like what Alex's first few months at the school were like versus where she is right now and what she is dealing with. And so if you like spooky kind of ghost stories that take a while, that really like sit with the character and with the moment, and don't like, if you like stuff that like it's not going to be moving fast for you, it's going to take a while for you to realize what all of the pieces mean and all of that stuff. It's going to take a while to get to a point where things are happening. But once you get to that point, it's like boom, 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 boom. Fascinating. Just had me hooked the entire time. This is not the only book that has done that on this list, I feel like, but one of them did do it a little bit better than Ninth House. So next we do need to talk about The Atlas Six by Olivier Blake. This was the second book that I read, but I thought it was going to end up being my favorite because I just absolutely love these characters. I love this setting. I love the idea of the Library of Alexandria, like, being underground now and like having knowledge that people are like, oh, it would be bad if people had this knowledge, so maybe we should take it away. Maybe it should not exist any longer. Maybe only a certain number, certain trusted people should be able to, like that's a recipe for disaster, but at the same time, like, it's an interesting plot too, and also knowing that the Library of Alexandria is still out there, kind of, like, just as a book nerd, that's kind of a nice thing to know. We might eventually be able to find it. Not in this setting at all. It's an alternate universe. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. There's, like, magic and all of this stuff, fantasy setting, and I really liked, like, this is another one that's gonna feel like, what the heck is happening? And you're really invested in the characters, and the characters trying to go through this academic setting. The way that it works is there are 6 of them brought in, and only 5 of them get to move on. So they are all sitting there going, okay, so how am I going to be one of the ones that moves on? It's like Survivor, but in a library, complete with all of the drama that you have in a Survivor type show. I will add, don't let the fact that these are all nerds, like, don't let that fool you. They are also petty and dramatic as can be. I have 2 favorites that are my favorite favorites, and if anything happens to them, I will be mad. And then I have everyone else, 3 of whom I like and want to succeed, and 1 of whom I want to see sunk to the bottom of an ocean with a rock tied around their ankles. Just wouldn't be mad about that. I really liked how well you got to know the characters in this book, and I also like, the biggest thing about this one is the twist at the ending will have you just filled with rage that you do not have the next book. Just anger, flames coming out of my head, like that was, I was so mad I didn't have the next book. How can you end a book that way? Why would you do that to people? I don't know, but I was here for it. And then the final book that is left, and people who know me probably saw this coming. This is a really, like, this is, I was not expecting to like this one as much as I liked it, considering, but it did the elements that I was worried it would not do well. It did them so well, and also was very accurate to, like, how theater students are. But that is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. This one was so, like, the murder that happens at the beginning was not even really a big deal to some extent, to the point that there were places where I was like, is another murder going to happen? Is that why he gets put away? But basically, we're following this character that has been in jail for 10 years for a murder that happened at his school, and everyone has wanted to know the real story, why he did it, what was going on, and no one got that. And so it's finally just him and, like, the detective who investigated the case going, all right, he's like, I just want to know the answers, my dude. I am not going to try and prosecute anyone. Someone did the time, and just to tell me what's happening. And I like that. I also loved the way that this was structured, very much the way a play would be structured. You had 5 different acts, and each act had a kind of a prologue, so that's a little different. But, like, they had a prologue, you had the present day, and then we went into the scenes, which were, like, the things that happened in each act, and I thought that it was done so well. It is a very, like, there are multiple plots from Shakespeare that were pulled to make this book what it was. We have a little bit of Macbeth, we have some Hamlet, we have another one that I won't say because that gives away a thing that I don't want to give away. So there you have it. I loved this main character. I loved being in his head and the way that he was working, and the fact that, like, he's very much your everyman type character, just doing his best, and kind of, like, it's not that he is bad at what he does, but he just doesn't see how like, it's interesting to see that he doesn't see how good he is at what he does, at what his strengths are as far as being an actor is. Real relatable. Being like, I don't know, what are my strengths? What's going on here? But really just the way that, and it's funny because I don't like Shakespeare's tragedies, but the way that Shakespeare's tragedies were, like, approached and used in this plot, I enjoyed it. And then this is one that some people say has an ambiguous ending as well. My good friends, that ending is not ambiguous at all. There is nothing, no ambiguousness to that ending. We know exactly what's happening next. Exactly what's happening next, and I am here for it. So that is the end of my little Dark Academia experiment. I read some very good books. I'm very happy with the results. Like 5 hits and 1 miss out of 6 books is not a bad track record. I'm very happy with what I got, and I enjoyed most of this. I mean, even the one that I didn't like, I enjoyed most of the book. So there's that. I'm thinking I might do another one of these kind of genre deep dives. Obviously, we're not going to have another genre that I've, at least not at the moment, that I haven't, like most of the genres that I read and most of the genres that are out there, they're going to be genres that I have already read because I have been reading for 34 years. I've tried pretty much all of it at some point, but I'm thinking I might do this. If you're interested in more of that, let me know in the comments. Give me a little bit of an idea of what genre you'd like to see me kind of deep dive next. If you're not feeling chatty, but you still want to let me know that you watched to the end of the video, go ahead and give me like the drama faces emojis because I am a dramatist. No, because the last one we talked about is If We Were Villains, and everyone in all of these books were dramatic bitches. So just drama all around. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you enjoyed this video, I will have other videos over here that you might like. I will have something YouTube thinks you'll like up here, and whatever is newest on my channel down here. That is it for now, my friends. Happy reading, and I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye!